So I came across this video called Rant. I had an abortion, so what? And I have a lot of things to say about this video. I am pro-life. I am a huge advocate of fighting for the lives of the unborn. I think that everybody deserves a life, no matter how small, what stage of development, no matter what gender, what disability you might have, what race you are. I think that you always deserve life and everyone should give the chance to live. My intended purpose of this video is to just focus on what the statements this girl's made and just kind of rebuttal them, show how hypocritical and contradictory they are, and not because she's saying them, but because this is kind of how the pro-choice movement thinks. And I don't know what this girl's gone through. I don't know what she's currently going through. And I just kept thinking while I was watching this video, like, wow, she would have an amazing testimony because she's like so hardened. Like, her heart is hard and she needs to soften that heart. She needs to humble it up. And I think if she had that ability, like, it would be an amazing story to hear from this girl. So I just pray Jesus touches her heart and she comes out with an amazing testimony. But until then, we are going to dissect this video. I'm going to break it down and I'm going to put my perspective on the things that she said.
I remember they showed us how to put a condom on a cucumber. I didn't listen, and that's why I got pregnant.
Right off the bat, 7 seconds in, she admits to knowing how to use a condom. She was even taught in school how to use one, but she chose not to. She didn't listen. And that's a huge issue. Like, don't have irresponsible sex and then have your form of birth control be an abortion. That's just not okay.
When I was 16 years old, I went right to my mother and told her what was going on. And after she smacked me, she took me to go get an abortion.
Wow, Mother of the Year. That's so messed up. Like, she's 16 years old and she goes up to her mom and she's like, Mom, I'm pregnant. Her mom slaps her and then takes her to the abortion clinic. Like, that's not a way to deal with things. You need to teach your children responsibility, how to own up to their own irresponsible actions. The mom didn't even talk to her about it and not explore options, ask her if she wanted to have the baby or not. I just can't imagine, like, being 16 years old and, like, worried and scared about what my mom was going to think. And then she teaches me the best option is murdering your child. Like, what? What? Wow. No wonder this girl thinks these things are okay.
It was a very, like, uncomfortable, weird, sinful, shameful thing that I lived with for such a long time. But then as I got older and I started embracing the truth about reality and life and that we're floating around the universe on a wet marble, I'm like, this isn't really a big deal.
What? She's like, I realized we were on Earth and I realized my abortion wasn't a big deal. Like, what does that mean? Please explain further. Like, did you not know you were on Earth and then you found out you're on Earth and you're like, my abortion means nothing. Like, what the heck did that mean? Wow. Like, no wonder this girl is so confused and was like, I used to feel sinful. I used to feel ashamed, but now I know it's okay. Like, what the heck? What the heck, dude?
If I got pregnant today, I would have to say that I would definitely have an abortion because of where my career is right now. It just wouldn't work for me to have a child right now.
That type of reasoning that she has and problem-solving skills is definitely something she probably learned from her mom. Her mom taught her, this is how you deal with your irresponsible actions. If your career is so important to you, why are you even having sex? Why are you going out there meeting people? Like, focus on what you got to do. Focus on your life. Focus on your career. Focus on those things. But it's obviously not that essential and important to you if you're out there going having sex, irresponsible sex, and possibly getting pregnant. Just don't do that. Okay? Like, it's that simple. Like, I don't understand where these people get this idea that we got to get rid of our problems. And I had irresponsible sex, abortion.
It is not a sin to have an abortion.
Except it's literally a commandment, thou shalt not kill. But, I mean, it's not a sin, I guess. I guess it's not a sin when you're living in La La Land. I mean, I feel bad for this girl in some type of way because I feel like she's really just trying to make sense of the things that she's lived through. And she obviously felt uncomfortable by it. She felt like she was sinning. She felt shameful about it. And I think that's the right way to feel. Like, humble yourself to the things that you do. Take responsibility for your actions. And stop being so cocky to be like, I'm not a sinner. Like, girl, we're all sinners.
What's a sin is bringing a child into this world that will not be cared for properly.
If you didn't know, that was the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not bring a child into this world that's not going to be cared for properly. Like, girl, where are you getting this information from? Like, where is she getting this from? Sources, please. Seriously, I don't get where she got that idea from and why she's so confident about it, because it definitely is a sin to murder your child. God has created every single child. It says in Psalms 139:13, it says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb." God knew everything about you before you were even born. I don't understand where pro-choice people get the audacity to talk about the well-being of a child when they literally murdered children and they condone and justify it. Like, how do you even, like, that is the most contradictory, hypocritical thing I've ever heard in my life. And a lot of times these same people will talk about, you don't care about babies in the foster care system. Like, dude, that's like a whole separate issue, okay? The foster care system, most of those kids in there are not even adoptable. Most of those kids in there have active cases waiting trials to get back to their parents. So no, okay, it has nothing to do with abortion. Stop trying to justify it by bringing up the foster care system. There are literally 2 million qualified couples right now in America alone waiting to adopt a child. That means every child placed for adoption, there's 36 parents waiting for that kid, fighting for that child. So if you don't want it, there's 36 other people who do. Where do these people get off talking about the best interest of a child when they literally advocate for the murdering of children and act like it's no big deal? Like, why was the best interest of your offspring to be sucked through a vacuum into a jar and sold online? Yes, that happens. Because the best interest of a child is to be profited on by Planned Parenthood, sold to stem cell research foundations, or sold to biotechnology companies who do research on their fetal tissue and their cells and their bone marrow. Yeah, that's definitely the best interest of every child. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's a sin to put your bodies even through the birthing process when it's something that you don't want.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but your reproductive right began when you had sex. It did not begin after you got pregnant. Just saying. I'm a woman and I do not need the right to abort my child. Just saying.
No, nobody's going to tell me what to do with my body. Nobody.
Did she forget that she just said that her mom told her what to do with her body?
Went right to my mother and told her what was going on. And after she smacked me, she took me to go get an abortion.
So, the media has completely desensitized people to abortion and how crucial this is and how sensitive this topic is, how traumatizing this is onto your body. But I can make so many different videos about this. So, like, if you want to hear more about this topic, go ahead and let me know. If not, I'm not going to waste my time making videos about it. But anyway, so 4 weeks, a baby starts developing body parts, their ears, their legs, their eyes, their heart, their brain. The heart begins to beat and the blood moves through their vessels. At 6 weeks is when the cognitive functions actually begin to start. So the electrical activity begins in their brain and in their nervous system. At 8 weeks, the baby can swallow amniotic fluid and even hiccup. At 10 weeks, baby can start moving around and you can even feel it. Baby now has a face profile. At 12 weeks, the baby starts developing urine in their kidneys and blood begins to form in the bone marrow. Most doctors can detect the sex of the baby by now. 14 weeks, the babies can blink, flex their arms and their legs, and move their hands to their mouth. Like, that's a pretty humanistic characteristic trait to do, right? But it's just a clump of cells, okay? So 16 weeks, the baby continues growing and starts to form facial expressions. 18 weeks, the baby can hear and their digestive system starts working. 20 weeks, the baby regularly sleeps and wakes up, can even wake up from noise and movement. So if there's too much noise, there's too much movement, a baby can literally wake up, but it's not a baby, right? People are so delusional. They say it's not a baby until it exits the birth canal, which is like, wow, okay, but it can literally hiccup and swallow, and it has cognitive functions, and it can move around. But it's just a clump of cells, right? Okay. Even as low as like 22 weeks, a baby has a 50% chance of surviving on its own. So I hear a lot of people trying to use that argument that, like, it's a parasite and it's not viable, so that means it's not a human. Like, girl, like, half of these people, if I threw them out in the woods and said, here, try to survive, they will not be viable, because that's all viable means, is being able to survive on your own, which most of these people can't even do. Just saying. So after 24 weeks, the baby's inner ear has finished form. The baby moves much more frequently. At this point, the baby has a high chance of surviving outside of the womb. So after 24 weeks, the baby can survive. Like, it's like a 74% chance that the baby can survive on its own. And that's not even talking about machines and all these other things. So yes, the baby is very flexible and very viable at this stage. At 26 to 32 weeks, the baby's eyes have completely finished developing. The baby can even tell light from dark. It reacts to the light. The hair starts growing. Baby's bones are completely formed. But hey, is it still clump of cells? I think that's what some pro-choice people will even say. 34 to 40 weeks, your baby finalizes all growth from brain, lungs, and then you have your baby. Ta-da, it's a baby. It was a baby before it came out of you. It's still a baby. It's always been a baby. Like, gosh. How are we going to go putting hashtag save our children all over our Facebook and our Instagrams and our Twitter, but you're not going to be talking about the abortion industry that profits off the murdering of millions of babies a year? They literally sell their body parts, their fetal tissue, their bone marrow, and you're over here like, save our children. Like, you can't have a message that doesn't talk about all the children when millions of babies are getting aborted a year. Yes, I know that sex trafficking is a huge issue, but so is this. Same with the Black Lives Matter movement. Your message gets lost when you don't talk about all the lives that were lost. 67% of the babies that were aborted are Black. Not only that, the Planned Parenthood industry was literally created by Margaret Sanger. She was part of the KKK. She was woman of the KKK. She created Planned Parenthood to control the Black population. And if you notice it, there's only Planned Parenthood in Black neighborhoods, and nobody's talking about that. The abortion industry is just disgusting. Planned Parenthood is a disgusting industry. It's a disgusting company that profits off the murdering of babies. It's infanticide. These people are killing our babies, and we're not doing anything about it. We need to start going to the Planned Parenthoods, okay? And we need to start protesting there. Okay, it's that simple. Anyways, that's the end of my video. I'm going to cut it off here because I could be ranting about this forever and I don't want to make this video too long. So anyways, thank you for watching and God bless you guys.